That was not subtle, by the way.
What?
The correct terminology is, would you like to powder your nose?
Oh, jeez. I know. I thought you had a hair coming out.
As opposed to, you got boogers, or you got snot, or, you just
well,
say,
all right,
sweetheart, can you I know, right? Or just keep staring at me and do like this. But don't say anything. So the person is like, you've got a bad coke habit, or you're trying to tell me something.
I thought it was like a white hair coming out of your nose, because I hate those.
A lot of hair got to be white.
Oh, jeez. Because we're old?
We're mature, dear. Well,
okay.
No, that's a lie.
Right, one of us is mature. Maybe two.
That would be Michael. He's the mature one.
Oh, my God.
Blooper reel.
Before we start today's show, please visit the sponsors, affiliates, and friends of the Stagecoach. The Self-Defense Gun Stories podcast, hosted by Rob Morse, brings you recent examples of armed civilians protecting themselves and who they love. The show helps you determine if people were lucky or trained, maybe both. Self-Defense Gun Stories is on all of your favorite podcast outlets. TheGunFood.com has an extensive network of partners to connect you with your guns, ammunition, and firearm training. The Gun Food only sells ammo that they trust. Use RSWC as a discount code and save 5.56% on your order at thegunfood.com. PowerTac flashlights have combined premium craftsmanship, American ingenuity, and cutting-edge technology, creating a highly dependable tool that you can trust your life with. Go to powertac.com/RSWC and save 15% on your order. That's powertac.com/RSWC. Sabre Pepper Spray has been making grown men cry since 1975. Find the link in the show description and help get the Stagecoach across America with every Sabre Red purchase you make.
Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the Stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
All right, before we start this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you hit the like button and hit the notification bell. And if you are listening to the show in podcast form, subscribe to the channel or subscribe to the podcast so that you get new shows when they come out. And if you like listening to the show, please make sure you share it with your friends, because that is how we get the Stagecoach across America. All right, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. We are at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and I have with me Candy Petticord and her son, Michael. Candy, thank you so much for being on the show. Michael, it's a pleasure. He's the quiet one, which is why we put him in the backseat.
Oh, is that what that is? I gotcha. Plez, I like that. What a plez.
It's a priv, an on, and a pledge.
Wow, you sound sus.
I know. So, back in my youth, I used to play in a band, and one of the guys used to say, he passed away recently, but he used to say, it's a priv, or it's an on, it's a pledge. It was a pledge. Like, it's a pledge. It's a pledge. So I started doing this. I started shortening words, and I was watching the news one time. This was a long time ago because I was married. But the guy in the news talked about the police commish. And right, and my ex-wife was like, "Why do you do that? That's so stupid. Why do you say that? That sounds so stupid when you say words short like that." And then I swear to God, the guy's like, "And the police commish did this," and I'm like, "The guy on the news is doing this.
Can't be that stupid.
Right?
Come on."
I think I'm a trendsetter here.
And he's getting paid to do it.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it is great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having us.
We got to meet last year at Rick Ector's event in Detroit.
Yes.
And this is really cool. Just before we started the show, you got a text message that one of the ladies that you worked with is getting her
CPL.
CPL.
Yes.
Very cool. Her CPL, concealed permit license?
I think that's what it's called. Concealed permit license or carry permit license.
Maybe carry permit license. Yeah. Every state calls it something different.
I know. I've noticed that. It's hard to keep up with the acronyms.
It really is. It really is.
It's exercising your Second Amendment right. Yes.
It's getting government permission to do your God-given right.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's ridiculous.
But I digress.
Yeah, so she calls and she says she's taking a class.
Yes,
that
and
is so cool.
She actually texted me, and she was so excited. She just, she was a little disappointed because she actually wanted to train with me, but obviously she lives in Detroit. I'm here in Ohio, but she wanted to let me know that she's working with 2 gentlemen at Recoil Firearms.
Cool.
And they are awesome, Will and Dan. And she is going through like an ultimate course, and then she's going to get her CPL with them. And it was so cute because she said, I'm scared, but I'm doing it. And I was so proud of her. Because I remember she said the exact same thing when we worked together. She said, I'm terrified of this, but I'm doing it because I need to. I want to. I have to. And that passion was awesome.
That's great. One of the ladies I worked with last year when I was in Detroit. So what I did was this. I went to work, but I went to really work it. That's what I went to do. So last year when I was in Detroit, I filmed 3 shows. When I say I filmed 3 shows, I did a show with Antonia Akafar. I did a show with Chris Chang. And then I did a show where I went with 3 of the women before they went shooting, and then 3 after they went shooting. Thank you for watching that show, by the way.
Oh, you got it. Don't look at me like that. I'm a busy woman, man. You know how many kids I got? What do you think I got time to sit down and watch something?
Right, well, we need to talk about this. How many kids do you have, Candy?
Just a few here and there. I collect them as I drive past. They look cute, and I just pick them up.
You have 10 kids?
Nope, I do not.
What?
You've
2 are
been
adults?
misinformed.
If it's more than 10,
you've been misinformed, my friend. I have a dozen.
A dozen kids?
Yep. Me and my sweetheart have 12 little peeps.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you remember that old? Oh God, who's the guy? Who's the guy that everyone hates? The guy that smoked this. That comedian, Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
That would go over his head with the
Yes, with the cigarettes. Right?
Yes.
You can close your ears for this one, Michael. One of his jokes was, oh God, Little Miss Muffet had curds and whey. What was the one about the one that had the nursery room about the women that had a lot of kids?
Oh my gosh! Is it Old Mother Hubbard?
Old Mother Hubbard. Yeah, I think it was Old Mother Hubbard. It was something like Old Mother Hubbard. Right.
Now, you know I'm going to have to Google that and find out what it is. And I'll have to do it when none of the kids are around because he was probably the raunchiest.
It's, was it Old Mother Hubbard?
Might have been.
Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard and had curds and whey. No, that's not the right one.
No.
There's 2 of them.
No,
What is it? Old Mother Hubbard?
Went to the cupboard to get her... No, I don't think that's it.
It's not that.
She's the one who went to the cupboard to get something for her dog, to get her poor dog a bone.
Right, that's it.
But when she went there, the cupboard was bare, and I don't remember the last part.
Right, I don't either. And I don't
Homie didn't eat. That's what it boils down to.
Well, the one I was thinking was, she had so many kids, her uterus.
Oh, what's that? Yes. Right. Oh my gosh! Wait. Oh, I just had it.
All right. Do you remember this one?
I do. She had so many kids. Her
uterus
fell out. Well, mine did not fall out. Actually, mine is incredibly awesome, as I was told by my gynecologist.
All right. Well,
yes.
Who would have thought in a gun show we're talking about gynecologist?
Yes, you brought it up. We will go there.
Let's
move along. Moving along. But you digress.
This is why I only have people have shows with people once, because they don't want to do this again.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? You might be thinking this. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm locked in a car with this woman. Anyway.
Right. I don't know who's really locked in the car, her or me.
I think Michael is.
Yeah, right. Poor guy in the back.
I love you, Michael.
How old of a guy are you, Michael?
I'm 21.
21. Yes, all right. I got a girl that's 21. My girl's 21. My boy's 22.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. I became a gun guy because I had kids. I had this responsibility.
Yes.
Like, my kids were my responsibility, and I needed to raise them, and then I needed to be around to raise my kids, and I needed to be able to protect them so that I could raise them. So
Yes.
that's how I became a gun guy. How did you become a gun gal?
Honestly, for the same reason, just slightly different terms.
Yeah.
I did not grow up with firearms
Okay.
at all,
Yeah.
because in my culture and where I'm from, if you were a black person, you had guns, you were a drug dealer, you were a pimp, you were a criminal of some sort. Because as a city dweller, you really didn't hunt or anything like that, so you kind of had no legitimate reason for having a gun. Right. So, guns were just never part of my culture.
Yeah.
However, as my kids started growing up, I started noticing that we didn't live in Mayberry anymore, and Mayberry's never coming back. And it's a dangerous world out here. And my thought was, if anyone were to ever do anything to one of my kids, I would. And then I'm like, what would I do? I could say I would do something, but I had
You have no means.
no means to do that. And one day I just happened to casually mention that to one of my sons. I'm like, you know what? I think we have something called concealed carry here in Ohio. I might start looking into that and seeing. And so I said it in passing, and I thought Aaron, it went in one ear and out the other. But like it might have been a year later.
Aaron is the son of your husband?
Aaron is my son. He
Okay.
is my oldest son.
Yeah.
And it was probably about a year later, he calls me and he goes, "Mom, on Groupon, they've got CCW classes for $49." And I'm like, okay. And then honestly, I thought, for $49, what harm could it be?
Right.
You know, what harm could it be? So took the class, and I will be honest, the lady and gentleman who taught it, looking back, they did a great job. They really did.
Mm-hmm.
However, they did a few things that I, as an instructor, would choose not to do. One of the things was we shot 22s.
Okay.
And after shooting that 22, having never shot a firearm before, I had a false sense of my abilities, if you know what I mean. Because I was basically shooting a BB gun.
Right.
A glorified BB gun.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is what it is to carry a gun to defend myself. So got my license, went through blah, blah, blah. I had this 22 experience in my mind. And I happened to talk to a friend of mine at church. And I told him, you know what? I've got this little card that I carry around that says I can legally have a firearm. I am not competent to carry this thing around. I don't even know what kind of gun to go out and get myself. I don't even know where to go from here.
Right.
And my friend, to his credit, he said, "You got your CCW, right?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I think you need to go through that class again, except you need to go to this guy." And that guy's name was Dan Clevenger. And he is a police officer, a retired police officer in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
He gave a phenomenal CCW class that truly helped me see the entire scope of what having that little plastic card meant. And when we went to the range, 22s were not even in the equation.
Wow.
380 was the minimum. And that's realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For your defense firearm, 380s are the minimum. 9mm is what he really pushed, because he said once you start going into 40, 45, that's kind of overkill, especially as a newer shooter.
Sure.
So incredibly, it was a phenomenal class. And throughout the class, he kept saying, this is the beginning. Please don't leave this class thinking that this is all that you need. You're ready to gear up and go. This is your starting point. And he kept emphasizing the need to get more training, more training, more training. And I bit it. I bit that, and here I am.
Very cool. Very cool.
You asked.
No, that's awesome. That's
but
awesome.
it's because of my kids, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely. The, what was I thinking? Start with 22s. Then you went to 380s. I used to say that friends don't let friends shoot 380s.
Yes.
But I had one of my good friends when she bought a gun for her wife, and I was all excited. And what I do is when somebody joins the club, I buy them A-Zoom dummy rounds. A-Zoom is not a sponsor of the show, but they should be. I buy some A-Zooms. I buy them a couple of spare magazines, maybe one spare magazine, and I buy them a book. And I
want to join your club.
You got to be a really good friend.
You can make that happen.
Oh.
I can fry you some chicken. You'd be my friend for life, homie. Went there. You know you love me. You know you do.
Then I buy him a book.
Ignore the chicken.
I buy them. It all depends. I've had them. I had Beth Alcazar.
Yes.
I love Beth Alcazar.
Yes.
Had one of my friends. I called Beth up and said, "Hey, would you autograph a book and send it to my friend?" And she did. And then the other book I have people get is Decoding Firearms by John Petrolino. So I signed a copy,
nice,
and then send it to them.
Nice.
So I did this for a friend of mine. She bought an Easy 380 a few years ago. It was a kid. It was a Christmas thing. Whatever. Thanksgiving weekend. Whatever. The Thanksgiving weekend sale. And it was a gun. It was eye protection, ear protection, a couple of targets, and a box of ammo. So
nice.
I was like, that's great. It was an Easy 380. And then, of course, I'm like, 6 months later, I'm like, I probably wouldn't have bought that gun. Like, friends don't let friends shoot 380s, but I want you to get in the club, and if that's what it takes for you to get in, then I am all for getting you in. Now that you're in the club, you need to get something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I got a couple friends that I do that with. So,
yeah, and I'm hesitant, or I should say I'm reluctant to talk about like 380 and 9 and all that good stuff. But as an instructor who works primarily with ladies, it chaps my behind when they come in with the little bitty cute little Ruger, you know the one I'm talking about, that 380 that is horrible to shoot. It's impossible with that incredibly heavy trigger. It's an extremely discouraging gun.
mm-hmm.
But it was sold to them because we all know that little girls should carry little guns. And then it goes downhill from there.
Right.
And how do I know this? Because guess what I have hanging on the wall in my attic?
No.
Yes.
You have a little 380?
Yes, because that was the first gun that was sold to me. Because, little girls should carry little guns. So, been there, done that, know all about it, and it's BS.
Yeah, my older sister called me up a year ago, and she lived in South Carolina at the time. She's like, "Hey, I bought a gun." I'm like, "Awesome, what'd you get?" She's like, "A purple one." I'm like,
"Okay, let me share something."
Like, you got a caliber or a brand or something?
No, it's purple. That tells you everything you need to know. It's like purple Kool-Aid, tell you everything you need to know.
She found out the caliber. It was a 380. I bought her some 380 rounds. I bought her some dummy rounds. I bought her a spare mag. I bought her a speed loader because I can't really see her like fighting with
the whole
not at all. And then I bought her Decoding Firearms. And after she gets those, she says, "So I took a shooting lesson with somebody. He told me the gun was too small."
Like, yep, I could have told you that too, and whoever told you that,
right?
Yes,
I'm
gold
like, look,
star to him.
I don't know if you know this, but your brother's been a firearm instructor for 13 years. I don't know if right. So that's all right. That's all right.
Profit in his own land, you know that whole thing.
Yeah. Right.
No, sorry.
All right, so Michael.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about you. Like, you grew up around guns, right? Your mom was a. Where are you in the lineup? First of all,
I'm number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't necessarily anything new, but when you were young, right? Like, your mom had been doing this a while.
No, I haven't.
Really?
I've only been
Yeah.
shooting. What is this? About 6 years.
Yeah. Mom's been shooting about 6 years. I've been shooting about 5 years.
Oh, cool.
That's it.
Because when Mom started shooting, she kind of kept it away from us at first.
Yeah.
Just 'cause
They
she
had
wasn't
no
sure.
idea.
Sure.
Yeah, she would leave the house for long weekends doing her class and come back with this big grin on her face, not tell us anything about it, and we're all looking at each other like, what the heck?
Where did Mom go and why?
I
Is she,
know, I'm
where,
so
where did Mom go and why is she happy?
I'm so surprised my husband didn't think I was having an affair or
Right.
something.
Exactly.
He never, bless his little heart, he never did. He's just like, what is she doing now?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Life with Candy.
Life with Candy. That's your YouTube channel right
Oh
there.
my gosh,
Life
yes.
with
Life
Candy.
with Candy. Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my goodness. All right, so you've been into it a little bit less. You see, she's going away. She comes back. She's in a good mood. She's not having an affair.
Yes. Praise
At-
Jesus.
At one point in time, we were going somewhere called, or she was going somewhere, I should say, called, what was it called? Pearl Armament?
Yes.
That was her, kind of her headquarter range. And basically what she did at one point, somebody told her that if she's going to have firearms in the house, she's got to have everybody in the house know how to use firearms. So what she started doing was 2 at a time, taking us out to the range, throwing us on the range, showing us all the stuff, teaching us all the basics for the firearms and all the safety for it.
Mhm.
And I guess I liked it better than everybody else, and she saw that in me, and after that, she was dragging me to every training she was going to. So,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Don't forget Mary was first though.
oh yeah,
Mary was first. My daughter Mary.
first.
Because, that girl, she is a wicked shot. I wish she had more time to devote to this because she is a natural. She is just a natural wicked. Actually, all my kids are. They can pick up practically any firearm and will be dead on, and it doesn't intimidate them. It doesn't bother
That's
them.
cool.
They're just like, oh, point it out. Show me the gun. Sure, I'll shoot it.
Oh my God.
Oh
that's
yeah,
so cool.
it's so cool.
That is so cool.
Now they get that part from their dad though, because my beloved husband, I love him to pieces, but I really wish he'd shoot more. He can go out. When we were in Detroit, the last time we were there, you know how we had the little layover in between students?
Yep.
So Will kept throwing out challenges, right? One of them was take the target all the way to the end of the range, and whoever was closest to the center won. My husband picked up his gun, did one shot. He was done.
Oh my God.
Bring the target in, homie was dead center.
Dude,
And I'm
awesome.
like, and it was so funny because the dudes on the range were so ticked because they're like, do you know how hard we have to get that? And he just picks it up and just nails it. And then he
my
puts
God.
it down and he's like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right. You're lucky I love you.
I know, right? It's like, do you know how hard I have to work to be able to shoot
Right.
like that? And he just picks it up. It's
my
it's just a God-given skill. And he's passed that to the kids. They're all amazing shooters.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So so you've only been doing this for 6 years. When did you decide to become an instructor, and why did you decide to take that path?
Because when did I decide to become an instructor?
Yeah.
Almost immediately after I found out how cool this was, because I love doing it.
So what did you do for work? Were you a teacher before?
Sorta. We homeschool all of our kids. So
Yeah, one in every grade.
pretty much. It's like we had our own school. Yes. So
We go to the Petticord school.
yeah. I remember one time we went to the zoo and I had all of the kids, and this one lady looks at us, her and her husband, and she goes, oh, is your school on a field trip? And I'm like, kinda. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Essentially.
It's sorta. It was hilarious. So, I also do IT. So I spend a lot of time communicating with people.
Okay.
Because trying to help you understand how to reboot and bring up, the dialogue box and blah, 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 you need to be able to be succinct and accurate with people to get them to do what you need them to do.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you learn how to talk to people in their language, whatever that language may be.
Makes sense.
So, that being the case, I became an instructor primarily because after I took that CCW class I told you about, it was really ingrained in me that I needed to get training.
Yeah.
Somehow I fell upon Buckeye Firearms and their training schedule.
Oh, cool.
So I'm like, oh, here you go, training, and it wasn't sky high expensive. It wasn't too far away from me. So I thought, I can do this, right?
Yep.
Well, it just so happens that the class that I picked was like the most difficult class.
Oh, jeez.
No, right?
They didn't have any prerequisites?
Well, it even said right there, to their credit, it even said, this is not a class for beginners. And I'm like, well, because I had done some private work with Dan and, that kind of thing. So I'm like, well, I'm not exactly a beginner.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, it's like I wasn't exactly a beginner. So I go in and I'm all happy. I've got my eyes and ears and my ammo and my gun and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So Andrew comes up, and it was taught by Andrew Blubaugh. And he comes up front and he starts giving everyone his credentials and thanking us for being there and all that. So then he goes around the room to each of the students and he said, tell me who you are, what you do, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So I believe there was a Navy SEAL, an FBI agent.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, and with every person, I'm just like,
hi, my name's Candy. I'm in IT.
Yeah, pretty much. They got to me, and I did just that, right?
Oh my God.
So the saving grace was the guy sitting next to me, because by the time they got to me, I was this close to tears, and I had already decided when they headed to the range, I was out of there.
Oh, no.
I was just gonna scoop up my stuff and leave. And I think, and I wish I could remember who he was, but there was a guy sitting next to me, and he had to have picked up that that's what I was gonna do. He reached over and he put his hand on top of mine, and he goes, I know what you're thinking. Don't.
Really?
All of us started somewhere. You're just the only one who had enough balls to come here straight from a CCW class.
Wow.
And then he goes, don't worry, we will help you get through this class. Please don't leave. And I was like, and then I did start crying. I was like, oh. So, and he was right. And there were ladies in that class as well. They were phenomenal. They were giving me tips and pointers, and they would take me off to the side and show me stuff that I didn't understand. They were phenomenal. And I'm just like, yeah, these gun people, they're pretty cool. And I find out the more classes and the more experiences I have, gun people are some of the best people out there. They just are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So the instructor thing, real quick.
Yeah.
Got into that because I had taken a class, and I went in, and one of the first things the guy said was, okay, who in here is right-handed? So everybody raised their hand except me. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh, cool, I'm the only lefty in this class. Awesome. And then the instructor, now, let me back up a little bit, because I'm going to tell you a secret. I know I don't share this with very many people.
This is Riding Shotgun exclusive from Candy Michael Petticord.
Write this down. I'm black.
What?
No, shh.
All right, well,
You'll probably have to edit this out. Just saying.
Don't tell
So, I'm black. I'm female. I'm middle-aged. How many of me do you typically see in firearm class?
Well, I'm going to say this. If you're left-handed and lesbian, you're going right down the checklist.
Nah, this is
we
true.
got it all. So.
I don't have the lesbian part.
Oh.
Hence the 12 kids. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh my God.
You forgot that little tidbit, didn't
Right.
you? So, knowing that there aren't very many of me in firearms classes,
Mm-hmm.
to have someone call me out like that when I've been in this particular class was literally the stereotypical gun guys.
Oh my
White,
gosh.
middle-aged, blah, blah, blah. Male.
We call it pale, male, and stale.
That's it. So that was his class. So when he asked who was right-handed, and I did not raise my hand, he then goes on to say, so who in here is wrong-handed?
Oh.
And I literally sat there for a minute, and I'm like, wait, wrong? Wait, what? And I was so caught off guard by that comment,
Okay.
I actually started thinking, wait, was I taught wrong? Wait a minute, was I supposed to always be shooting with my right? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So got past that class and that awkwardness.
So here's what I do. I say when somebody says, are they left-handed? I say, oh, I'll explain it slowly. That's all I
I will
do.
stab you, but not while you're driving.
Well, that's good.
So the next class, same thing. Who's right-handed? And then by this time, I'm like, okay, here we go. So again, I was the only left-handed shooter. So the instructor stops and he goes, you didn't raise your, then that means, oh my God. Then that means you're, and I mean, literally for a good minute, maybe minute and a half, he just went on and on and on. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So after that class, I went home and I trained myself to shoot right-handed.
Wow.
So even though I'm left-handed, I shoot right-handed because I was so humiliated by those instructors.
That's all right.
Jacked up. Call it what it is.
That's a bunch of BS.
That's jacked up.
It is. It is.
However, now that I'm an instructor, I now know it didn't have anything to do with me.
Oh God, not at all.
It was, they didn't know how to teach a left-handed student. So how much farther would it have gone if instead of humiliating and embarrassing me, they had simply turned around and said, oh my gosh, you're left-handed? Guess what? I've never taught a lefty. Do you mind being my guinea pig?
Right.
We're going to have fun with this.
Right.
I promise you'll leave with all the fingers you came with and no extra holes. Now, how much farther would that have gone instead of humiliating me?
Yeah.
But the one benefit to me is I shoot well with either hands now. So
I guess what I do is I say, look, you know what? You're left-handed, that's fine. And you just do it a little different.
You'll slow it down for us. You're so nice.
I did not. Slowing it down. Okay, well, I do say that. But
She go, I do slow it down.
No. I do the same thing for redheads. I'm joking. I just say, no, we just do it a little differently. That's all. I'm like, you live in a right-handed world. It's just a little different. That's all.
It's not that big a deal.
It's not.
But those episodes make such an impression on me because, I'm already a minority in every sense of the word in that class. Yep. You should be embracing me, not making me feel awkward and unwelcome.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And because of that, along with, protecting my kids and my sweetheart, I'll be an instructor so I can be out there to embrace those people who have been told, you're wrong-handed, you're the wrong color, you're the wrong gender, you're the wrong whatever.
Right.
You shouldn't be here. Sure you should.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
What's your dominant eye? Because that's what really matters.
I am cross-eye dominant.
Oh, girl, me too.
I know, right? Isn't it cool? And don't you love it when you get those students who have been told by other instructors, you're cross-eye dominant, so you're damaged goods.
Dude, I always tell them,
sniff, shed a tear. And I'm like, sweetheart, I will look at them and I will literally say, you know what? You're cross-side dominant. And do you know what that means? Absolutely nothing, because so am I. And the way I'm going to show you to present the firearm, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. If you present the firearm correctly, it doesn't matter because your brain takes over.
Right.
So there you go.
I call them, I say, we're freaks of nature. Okay. So
yeah.
Who cares? If it's this or this or this or this. This is all it is.
That's
I say
all
rifles
it
or
is.
shotguns, a bigger deal. But handguns, it's not going to matter. So who cares?
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Now, are you right hand, left eye?
Right hand, left eye.
Okay. So how do you shoot rifles? Do you use your right eye?
I do.
I can flip.
No, I'm just flirting with you.
Oh, baby. I can flip. And it all depends on the day.
So it depends on this.
The day.
I did a class recently with an AR. I shot right-handed and I got a red dot. And the red dot absolutely helps because now I know that I'm looking at the red dot. So yeah.
Yeah. Mine depends on my eyes because there are some days I can use that right eye and I'm spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Other days it's like, oh yeah, wrong eye.
Oops.
Flip it over and it's like,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about faster saves lives, girl.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in this? How long after you were an instructor did you get involved with faster?
Actually, I got involved with Faster before I was an instructor.
Really?
Yes, because I was ridiculously taking every single one of Buckeye's classes. I took every single one because I got hooked.
Yeah.
The classes were so awesome and I was learning so much, becoming so much more competent and confident that I'm like, oh, and I want to say it was Jim and Joe who noticed me, and they're like,
What?
yeah,
Short
why
black
not?
woman,
I know,
left-handed
right?
in our class.
Go big. So they invited me to come out and do a foundations class,
Yeah.
at which I'm so clueless. I was like, oh, okay, we'll do that. So I went out, took the foundations class, did very well in it. And then they were like, okay, well, Faster is going to be such a day. We'll see you there. And I'm like, whoa, now. So went to Faster and got hooked on that. Love what they do. Love what they were bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And at the time that I got involved, it didn't really register.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got involved in Faster and these horrible school shootings started happening, then the pieces started to come together as to how important and how amazing what we do really is. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Michael, what did you become? I mean, you're tagging along with your mom for all these things, right?
Yeah.
You're going to Detroit.
Yep.
You're coming to Gun Rights Policy Conference. How long after you started shooting till you started becoming an instructor? I assume.
5 minutes.
So
That's all the time I gave them.
Mom said she hit all the Buckeye classes and it almost became religious to her. Dragged me along with her, and not soon after she became an instructor through all of her means. She's like, "You are becoming an instructor next," and I'm like, "All right." Now I say Mom drags me along, but reality is I'm running after her because I'm loving all this stuff that's going on, and it's a blast for me.
No pun intended.
Oh, waka waka waka.
But yeah, one of the main reasons I became an instructor was to help my siblings out because Mom was dragging me out to all these classes, but my other siblings weren't coming out. They were able to shoot well on a square range, but when it went any further than that, like being able to kneel and shoot, being able to move and shoot, all this other stuff, I'm learning all that, but they're not getting any of it. So I took all these extra classes, NRA's training, UCCA's training, all these other instructor courses, not at first to become an instructor, but just to know how to teach it to others, specifically for my family. Yeah. And then as I'm getting all these credentials in, Faster notices that I have these, the credentials, and they've been dragging me out to help with Faster classes. So, and I love doing it. Not necessarily the part where I got to be the dummy getting shot at and beaten up like that. But
that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that part is a man thing. Sorry.
But everything else, yeah, it's
It
amazing.
is a man thing.
That's awesome.
Now, Michael and his sister Abby are in the unique position in that they're not old enough to. Oh my gosh! Look at their gas out here. Gee,
Dude,
willikers.
$5.
$5 a
$5.
gallon.
Yeah, I saw one
Get
place
the
it was like
flip
$5.12.
And I looked at that and I'm like, oh yeah, Arizona. Sorry, forgot. Okay, back to this. Michael and his sister Abby have been in the unique position in that they were the ones who showed the most interest.
Mhm.
So I scoop them up and take them with me.
Yeah.
So pretty much all the training that I've had, they've had as well.
Wow.
They are phenomenal shooters. And the only thing holding now Abby back is her age. So much so that when I went and got my USCCA instructor certification, Michael went with me. He got his, but Abby wasn't old enough.
Wow.
So Abby did all of her stuff, shot her qual and everything. And Abby wanted me to write the instructor because you get notified by email whether you passed or not.
Mm-hmm.
So Abby wanted me to write the instructor and ask, if she had been old enough, would she have passed?
Right.
The instructor wrote back and he said, absolutely, she would have passed. And when she turns 21, reach out to me so we can get her certified.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
Abby she's a force to be reckoned with in her own right.
All right, what's going on with the roads here?
We're merging.
I
Pretend it's Chick-fil-A, baby. Merge.
I've been down this road 2 other times today, and every time I've been down this section of the road, it's different.
You're like, what are they doing
like
now?
The first time there was nothing. The second time the right lane was out of commission, and now the left lane's out of commission.
Well, at least they're efficient.
This is true. Unlike my home state, they're efficient.
What is your home state?
Confusion. No, I live in Massachusetts. I live in occupied territory.
Ew.
I know.
Let's take a moment.
We'll hug it out later.
I
Okay?
know, right? Let's take a moment. Let us shed a tear.
I'm
I'm sorry about that, babe.
The very first year I spoke at Gun Rights Policy Conference, I knew nobody. I knew Mark Walters because I'd interviewed him in Minneapolis a month before. And I did a radio show with Amanda Suffolk, and when I recognized her name, I'm like, hey, I did your radio show, and you said you were going to call me back, and you never did.
And you never did.
Yeah.
You dissed me.
I know, right?
Oh.
So these are the only people I know. I'm trying to meet everybody, trying to work it, all that kind of stuff. And I got up there to speak, and I said, so nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows what I do. Like, nobody does a thing. And I get up there, I'm like, hi, my name is Charlie Cook. I'm gonna say a sentence in a moment, and I want you to say, sorry, Charlie. And everyone's like, can everyone do this? I'm like, yeah. I said, okay. I'm from Massachusetts. And everyone goes, sorry, Charlie. And I said, great. You don't have to do this again. You really don't.
It's like, okay, we've gotten that out of our system.
Exactly. Hi, my name's Charlie. I got a show Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Massachusetts.
Sorry, Charlie.
I'm like, come on, guys. This is bull. This is bull.
It's just our hearts going out to you.
Yeah,
We feel your pain.
I get it.
Ohio is very well. Just saying.
Ohio is, but I don't know, man. I want to move to Freer America. Anyway, which classes do you guys do with Faster? Because there's three different. There's the foundations class to teach everyone the fundamentals, and then they have 1, 2, and 3. I want to say, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I think Faster Colorado has a level 4 class.
Yes.
Okay.
I just found out about that, and I'm like, oh, you go, which is awesome.
Yes, I had Laura Carno on the show. Laura Carno she wrote a book called The Government Ruins Nearly Everything. And she's awesome. And so I was in Denver, and I was there for personal stuff, but I'm filming some shows because I work everywhere I go. And she invited me to come to the level 4 class. I'm like, oh my God, this is totally cool. But I ended up hanging out with somebody, and I couldn't escape. That was okay. That was all right. So I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
sorry. I'm hanging out with so and so,
Is that how you actually text it?
no, that's.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
That was pretty good.
It was
though.
good. It was.
It's not like it was rehearsed or anything. I'm just saying.
I know, right?
Sound the counter natural to me.
Right.
Cough,
Are you doing material, Charlie?
Cough.
All right. So which class do you teach for Faster?
I actually do not teach for Faster. I am on the board for Faster.
Whoa.
So yeah.
Okay.
So
I thought
now he does teaching stuff. He's an assistant.
Yeah.
The guy who gets beat up, shot at, stabbed, all that fun stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm one of the.
You did help teach Faster Foundations.
I did.
They were
Back when
so-called
we had Jack. I did assist then, and so much fun. So much fun. And that's one of the hard parts of enjoying firearms so much is you want to do everything.
Oh yeah, my gosh.
But I've learned a new term, and I think Amanda introduced me to it, of staying in your wheelhouse. So it's I work very hard to stay in my wheelhouse because I want to do all of it because I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that, there are people much better than me. So I stay in my wheelhouse.
Okay, we are
Lost. No,
we're
I'm
not
just kidding.
lost. We're about to pull into the airport.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like,
yeah,
wait,
I'm just
I'm
following
lost.
we're not lost.
Isn't that fun? Look at that little thingy.
Yeah, the sky
The
train.
sky train. How cool is that?
It's not.
I don't get out much.
I guess not.
No, I don't. I know, right? If it's a sky train, it should be like flying in the sky and the train. But what do we know, right?
I don't know. And we're not. I'm going to say this: we're not officially lost because we're on the same road that we need to be on, where the conference is. But we just need to bang a U-turn. And there's a sign here that says
no
U-turn.
And please don't be doing anything illegal because I'm assisting a car with guns. So no, don't be.
You're not driving. You should be fine.
This is true. I can say you kidnapped.
Blame it on the white guy.
You kidnapped us.
He kidnapped us. He's got a gun too.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny. That's one of the reasons why I'm so anal about being on top of the maintenance of my cars. Because I kid you not, at any given time, I'm in a vehicle with heaven only knows how many firearms, ammo, this, that, and the other. That's my job. So I'm like, no, I can't be breaking down in BFE somewhere. And I'm hearing banjos in the background. And I've got a car loaded with firearms. Like, no, can't be doing that.
Oh, my goodness.
That would not play out well.
Not work out
No. So we don't do that. I still remember who I am. I'm a sister with a gun. It's not approved in all areas. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's true.
So funny.
That's my life, my friend.
All right. So, Faster's in 22 states.
22 states.
This is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
It is.
And I love the fact that we're working on expanding our branding, so to speak. Because, of course, when people think about Faster, they think about firearms training for teachers and staff and all that good stuff, which is true. And the standards to which those potential candidates are held is very high. But we also do the medical aspect, which is huge.
It really is. And
Huge.
This is to me, that was the big thing that I got when I did the level 1 course a couple years ago, because I hadn't had any, and I guess I didn't realize how important it is, but it is obviously very important. Because that's what really saves people's lives.
What was it? I had heard that at the Sandy Hook tragedy, the majority of those young lives were lost because those babies bled out. And a lot of them could have been saved by simple application of a tourniquet.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Something that simple.
Right.
You know?
And it's when people say, I've been a teacher for 30 years, and when people say, well, teachers don't want to become, they don't want to carry guns and they're not defensive.
And there are a
people
lot
and
of
all
them
that
who
kind of
don't.
stuff. And that's fine. Like my deal is this: I don't want to force anything on you that you don't want. I also don't want you to force anything on me that I don't want.
Correct.
And I
There
mean
you
this
go.
particularly when I'm talking about peas. But right, I don't like peas. I don't like peas.
I love peas. You should have Michael's peas. You would love.
So I'm
peas.
coming over for chicken and peas.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I will hook you up.
Oh my
Chicken
gosh.
and peas. We got to get some biscuits in there somewhere.
Oh, Jesus.
I know, right?
I know.
Making you happy. Giving
So,
you happy thoughts.
I don't know what my thoughts are anymore. So when you talk to these people, they say that teachers don't want to become gun folks and all that sort of stuff. And they didn't get into teaching to carry a gun. Right.
Yeah.
But you know what they also didn't do? They didn't get into teaching to become a nurse and administer first aid. But if it's what they need to do to save their kids, because let's face it, a lot of times teachers get in the way of these murderers and get in the way of all of these sorts of situations to help prevent them.
Or so they think.
Right, or so they think. Right, but if the teacher's willing to put their life on the line to protect their kids, then give them a gun.
Give them
a
the
gun.
means
Yes.
to actually protect their kids.
Give them the means and the training, and it's probably going to be a much better situation.
Yes.
The other thing I tell people is, if you don't trust, well, what if the teacher can't get the kids to come in from recess and start shooting them? Like, you don't understand what a gun is for, and you might not want to have one.
Yeah.
This is not what they're for. But the other thing is this: that these teachers and school staff and pre-care, before school, after school, all these people, if you drop your kid off at 7 o'clock in the morning and you pick them up at 6 o'clock at night, they have your kids. They're in charge of your kids' safety for 11 hours a day.
More hours than you are.
Right? Because yes. So teachers pass background checks. Anyway, they have to go through all that other. They become what do they call it? Not first responders, but mandatory reporters. Right? If they see something, they become all of that as well, and you don't sign on for that when you want to become a teacher.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
it's no different.
It is no different.
And honestly, I think you brought up the biggest issue with me. If you ask any dedicated teacher, they would not hesitate to put their life on the line to protect their kids.
Yeah.
How about we make it so they don't have to put their life on the line?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's really that simple. And the other cool thing about FASTER is it's voluntary.
Mm-hmm.
We are not going into schools telling, okay, all the 6th grade teachers, you must carry a gun. We're not doing that. We're asking who would like to.
Right.
Who would like to go through this course of study, go through da-da-da-da? Who is willing to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And we have had people who have come to the range, who have had a gun in their hand, who have started the shooting process or whatever, put the gun down and say, I can't do this. Can't do it.
Okay, that's cool, man.
And we've had women and men do that.
Wow.
I can't do this.
That's okay.
However, the other cool thing that we do here is I can do the medical. Can't carry a gun.
Right.
Won't carry a gun because I don't know if I could do this. But that I could do. And you got to give kudos to those people.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, what Dirty Harry said, a good man's got to know his limitations.
Yes.
Right?
Pretty
Cool. Rock
much.
on. You can't do that, but you can do this. And
Yes.
this is also going to save your students' lives.
Correct.
Well,
That is just as important because once that good guy with that gun stops that bad guy with that gun, there's a lot of work to be done, unfortunately.
Absolutely. All right, we need to wrap things up. How can people find FASTER?
That's a good question. You can go to fastersaveslives.org.
Awesome.
Da-da-da.
The classes are free. The classes are awesome.
Yes,
And you
they
guys
are
can do this
amazing.
anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
You guys rock.
Yep.
Candy, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Michael, thank you so much for being on. I know we didn't talk to you too much.
I know, Michael, stop monopolizing the conversation. For crying out loud.
Can you keep it down back there?
I know, right? Can't take that kid anywhere. Jeez.
All right, we're going to put some links for Faster. We're going to put a link below for the Second Amendment Foundation, because if you are not a member, you need to join. It's $150 for a lifetime membership. There is going to be a link in the show description. If you also need to check out sdrn.us. That's the Self-Defense Radio Network. It's all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts in the same place. And if you've made it this far, you need to share the show, because this is how we get the Stagecoach across America. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are awesome. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.